I always say, I think a lot of couples look for things in common as far as activities. And I will tell you right now, Gary and I have nothing, very little in common as far as activities go. He is like, by the way, he's 6'4". I did find a height.
There you go.
But I know I did good. But I mean, he and my listeners know he's like, does Spartan races and did triathlons for years. He's like Mr. Fitness. I kind of get to the refrigerator as much as I can. Like he used to hike. Like if he had if his person hiked, he'd be hiking with me, but I don't. So we have but I think what happens, when I make a list of my dream man, and I think everyone should do this. And I want to ask you about this, like not looks, not he's this tall or she's this tiny or weighs this, but more like, to me, it's things like he always has my back. When we disagree, we fight fair. When I feel cherished, I feel his eyes are on me the second I'm in the room. Like these are things
I love that one.
It's a good one, right? And he does. I will say
Yeah.
Gary really is so good at that. Like if he's talking to someone at a party and I come in later, he's just locked on me. He looks at me like I'm magic half the time. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I think that when you date older too, it's different, but I think you kind of know if you've already been married and you're, really what's important, so to speak. But I know that if I had just been screening, with triathlons, I never ever would have stopped in a million years if I thought that was the only thing. And he didn't have it in his as like the woman I'm looking for runs marathons, And so I do wonder, what do you think about that? Like, I just wonder if people aren't really clear what they truly want or truly need. No, need is better. Truly need to feel cherished, safe, secure. And so they're a little confused when they're looking and you end up relying on looks or activities or things like that. Do you think that that's true or am I way off?
No, I think one of the issues is that I do think it's really important to get clear on what you are looking for in all those senses, right? Somebody who makes you feel cherished, somebody, all that stuff. You will not know that on a dating app profile. Like you just aren't gonna know if that person is gonna provide you with emotional support and, do all these things. Like you're just not. And so I think that lowering the bar a little bit and being a little bit more open. So like I love that you weren't saying, oh, I need somebody who's doing all the things that I'm doing, because that's not the bar. But I think when we try to make it that I'm looking for a profile that tells me that this person is going to cherish me,
Right.
like you're just not going to find that.
Not going to find it. Yeah. That makes really good sense.
I think you touched on a great point about like, I think overall, most people in their life want support for the things that they love and like to do, and not necessarily that you do that with them. Sometimes that is the case. And I've seen people write like, I want someone that wants to like go on camping, outdoor trips, blah, blah, blah with me. And that's valid if you want that. When I see that, that's when I go, okay, I might not be the person for you. Yeah. But like the triathlon thing, it's like, oh, I'm not saying I want you to run a triathlon with me, but once you are invested in my life and we're having a relationship together, I would love that you came and supported me and cheered me on and watched me.
Yep.
But that's also something you go, man, if someone asked me on like a first or second date to come to their triathlon, I'd be like, fuck no. That's
absolutely
we don't
not.
know each other yet. You know what I mean? Like it's all something we got to build. We got to build that support. Obviously, I'm ride or die when I'm with somebody, but like first couple dates, let's just get to know each other on, a personal level and see if we have values that align.
Yeah. So that's really it, I think, right? The values. Because that is somewhere I was aligned with my ex and my current values. Those aligned. And that, I think, because the rest you can figure out, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, what are the big relationship deal breakers, would you say, that you feel like you've come across in your line of work?
The big relationship deal breaker is that people compete with each other. That's what underlies poor communication. That's like the cancer that eats at a relationship. Oh, you went out with your friends on Friday, so I'm going to go out with my friends on Saturday, or you spent money on this, now I'm going to spend money on this. There's a lot of keeping score. It's like a competition. And so not competition, and even sometimes not being happy for the other person, if it means less time with you, I'm telling you, that's the problem, because it's like you're on opposite teams. And obviously, then I don't want you to win. because I'm over here. So I want to win if we're on opposite teams. That's what I find. And people always come and say it's communication. We don't communicate. And I'm like, that is on top of the problem. That's like the fever, not the cancer. And the cancer is this sort of thing you have about keeping score. He's not doing as much as me, or one of the things, Allie, I was noticing, like I see people ask you questions, and Allie will answer questions on IG, or I'm assuming TikTok too, that you just sort of have. And I always read, and, someone will say like, oh, I'm always the one instigating. Isn't that bad? And, Allie, I love your answers are always like, well, is it bad for you? Like, what do you want? If it's not good or bad, it's just whatever you need or you want in the relationship, right? Can you just talk more about that?
Yeah, well, that's where I think what Erica said about values aligning comes in, because there's also like the type of relationship that you want can be a type of value. And like, what kind of communication do you want? What kind of structure do you want? Do you want somebody like, a lot of our listeners will talk about how they want guys who are planning dates all the time and are the ones that are driving things and being the first to communicate. And if that's the dynamic that you want, then okay, like go for that. But if you are looking for something that is more 50-50 in a relationship in terms of communication, it makes sense to me to do that in early dating too. But there isn't one right answer. So it's not like this is the right way.
That's the hardest thing for people to get, I think.
It would be easier if there were one right answer. It would be so much easier if we could be like, do this and then everything will be fine.
Erica, is that for you too? Like, do you find it that people are looking for like the one right way to do this?
Yes and no, because I feel like all of us kind of make our own set of rules based on our own experiences. So I am naturally like that more planner type personality. I've always been that person in like my group of friends, my family. Like I'm almost like would rather be in charge. But with dating, then I would end up seeing men that it's like, well, it's very easy for them to see me if I'm the one doing all the legwork.
Right.
So I feel like there's truth in both, where it's like, okay, I don't mind if like picking the restaurant is up to me, but I also sit there and go, if I don't hear from you for a few days after we've been on a few dates, I take that as a clear sign that you aren't very interested.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So it's like
I love
there
that.
is value in the communication part, like we say, where it's like, are you trying to see me? Do you care at all if you see me or not? And when you have people that are interested in you, I feel like that's like number one basic level is hearing from them, trying to get together, trying to make things work to get some type of like quality time, even if it's a phone call. I've had guys that were like, hey, I'm out of town, but like, can I call you later? Great. Let's chat.
Perfect.
Oh, I love it.